There are those that just want to be left alone, and those that just won't leave them alone. Which one are you? The Ernest Hancock Show.
There's something happening here, but what it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
Let's just stop, take a look around.
There's battle lines being drawn.
Yeah, the battle lines. What are the battle lines? I got Robert Naiman on from justforeignpolicy.org, and we're having a discussion here, and I want to try and have some influence. It's not like you're having to drag me along, man. You know, it's not like you got to make me anti-war. And I'm just looking at the logistics of advocating in Washington that you can understand. I want to understand from your perspective, when you deal with these congressmen, you're doing so as an individual and an organization, I would imagine. And you have, if you go in and you go, no, now, right now, don't want to talk about now, as in not later. Osama's gone. Now's a perfect opportunity. As you said in your articles, now's a great opportunity for us to talk about now. But it's really talk about setting a date and a phased withdrawal and all this other stuff. And I'm going, if you were to advocate now, one, you'd be one of the few, and all the people that want out now, you know, here comes the support. But who would stop supporting you? And I saw how the industrial complex of the military was co-opting all of these anti-war groups and exactly how they did it. Pelosi gets in and immediately keeps funding Iraq and Afghanistan. Hundreds of billions of dollars. And I'm like, what was it you guys got elected on? And they continue it. So I'm wondering who would stop supporting your organizations and your effort if you went hardcore?
Well, it's not a question of anybody stopping supporting our organization. Nobody in Washington funds our organization. It's just a question of trying to be effective in the Washington context, where getting, the majority of members of Congress, including so far the overwhelming majority of Republicans in Congress, are not willing, have not yet been willing to do anything. So when your struggle is to try to get somebody to do something, usually don't ask for the moon.
Well, who does you think that you're going to is going to convince them? You walking in their office? I'll tell you what got them going around. It was the 2008 Ron Paul Revolution got them all kinds of worried, and the Tea Party thing, and cut the budget and doing this and that and everything. All of a sudden they going, yeah, I got religion, I'll be good. And I'm going, well, let's see it. But if you have somebody that's asking, for peace, and they just want less war, you're never even going to make an attempt. I mean, even if you got what you wanted, even if you got them to agree to a schedule, they haven't met any of these since this entire thing started. No promise has been held up. None. Not one. Why would I want to, just advocate for another promise? I'm wondering what's in it for you.
It's interesting that you say that, because right now, as we speak, there is a signed agreement between the United States government and the government of Iraq that says all U.S. troops have to come out of Iraq by the end of 2011, by the end of this year.
Yeah.
If we got something like that in Afghanistan, that would be a huge step forward.
Do you think that deadline's going to be held up?
I think that it might be. I think it's clearly the case that there are people in Washington and Baghdad that would love to renegotiate that, but it's not clear if they can pull it off, because there is tremendous opposition to doing so in Iraq, and there's tremendous opposition to doing so in the United States. But we are far away. I'm sorry to say that right now, objectively, where we are right now, we are far away from even having anything like a signed agreement with the government of Afghanistan that has a real end date for the exit of U.S. troops. So you got to start from where you are. But believe me, I wish, introduce me to your Tea Party friends. I would love it if the Tea Party in the United States would adopt a demand of U.S. out of Afghanistan.
Yeah, no, they're they're another psyop. It's just
okay.
Don't even.
But anybody you want, anybody you can get me access to, or anybody we can talk together. I would love it to have, more Republicans, more Republican-influenced libertarians, or libertarians in Republican clothing, whatever it is. More people on the right in Republican precincts, where I don't have a lot of influence, saying that the U.S. should get out. In particular, we're coming in the primary season. Boy, would I love to see a lot of candidates running in Republican Party. The presidential, we got 2 candidates on the stage saying the U.S. should get out of Afghanistan. Well, what about all the congressional, the House and Senate primaries? What about Republican candidates saying, get out of Afghanistan?
It's only going to come from the people. It's not going to come from, what do you think Ron Paul's been screaming for decades? So it's not going to come from there. It's going to come from us. It's going to come from, and there's no us. The anti-war movement is what? I mean, it's just Ron Paul's supporters. That's it. That's all we get. And Gary Johnson, that's all we get. And maybe Judge Napolitano on Fox. Give me a break. I'm going, this is amazing that we don't have the anti-war right now coming from the left anywhere. And if you look at, they're threatening to go into Syria now. And Syria, its biggest border right there is along with Turkey and Iraq. So Iraq, you think we're going to not have our bases there? Heck, they'll come up with an excuse for, hell, they'll want to bomb Syria and start a war with Syria just so they can keep the bases in Iraq. This is amazing what's going on. And what brackets Iran? Afghanistan on one side, Iraq on the other. You think we're going to, leave those bases? Heck no. And it's not a philosophical discussion that's going on. It's like a phased withdrawal. Osama's not there anymore. We got him. He's dead. Now let's go ahead. And at the best I can get from the left is they'll go, well, you know how much all those bombs cost? We could, build a school for each bomb or something like that. They still want to take my money. They still want to increase the debt. They still want to. So I'm just, freedom is not even on the plate. And I'm just.
Well, I'm for any way of getting out. If we can get out by moving the money to schools, I'm for that. If we can get out by moving the money to paying down the debt, I'm for that. If we can get out by moving the money to cutting taxes, I'm for that too.
Robert, you have to advocate for getting out, not talking about getting out, not setting a timeline
I am
to
for
get
getting
out.
There's nobody on planet Earth that's more for getting out than I am.
All right, brother, I want to help. But I can't. What I can't help, because I've been through this before. I've been doing this a long time. I can't advocate for a plan to kind of draw down a little bit, to leave bases, to have the military come out and leave all these mercenaries. They have, every single one of these plans has a little caveat in there and a line that still we keep our foot in the country. We still got, the military and the people there justifiably saying, look, you know what? You're not gone. You're saying you're gone, but, let me look out my window. You see that guy over there at M16 on the corner? Guess what? They're not gone. So I'm going,
right.
How do we...
I totally agree with you. I'm for the U.S. totally getting out, not a soldier, not a private contractor, not a single U.S. base. 100% totally gone. That's why we're pushing for a real timetable with an end date for the removal of all U.S. troops.
Okay, so do you have some kind of, history or relationship with these guys that you would believe them if they gave you exactly what you wanted?
Well, I never believe anyone, but I still regard it as a victory. If somebody refuses a demand, if they agreed that now they publicly agreed to it, that's still a victory. Then you got to try and hold them to it.
Well, I'm going to make your job easier, man. I'm going to be out there screaming for now, not later. And then maybe, as we're out there doing that and having some fun, it'll make your job a little bit easier to get at least a timetable. So hopefully you'll see us on your side.
All right, then. I look forward.
Thank you, Robert Naiman, Policy Director, justforeignpolicy.org. Go check them out. We'll talk to you tomorrow here on Declare Your Independence. We got worked out with Brad Freeman from Brad Blog. Going to talk to us about the Kentucky election people. A total of 158 years in jail for election fraud. Ooh. Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. Readers of freedomsphoenix.com are constantly provided the information that detail the real news between the lines of propaganda about government policies and the true relationship we all have with coercive governments. Learn the true condition of our economy, innovations and technological breakthroughs in energy, health, computer science, and space travel. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media, the media that is so last century. Corporate media has evolved into nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but we now have a fantastic alternative. FreedomsPhoenix.com provides constant news updates on the issues that affect our lives in the most important ways. Our liberty and our property are under constant attack, and FreedomsPhoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda while encouraging the participation of our readers. Join us at FreedomsPhoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. FreedomsPhoenix.com, where the revolution between the ears has already matured.